Well, Donald Trump may soon be widely expanding his presence on social media once again.
Yeah, Meta ending its suspension of the former president's Facebook and Instagram accounts. Social media giant says Trump will regain access, quote, in the coming weeks. His accounts collectively have hundreds of millions of followers.
Well, this announcement comes approximately 2 years after Meta barred the former president from Facebook and Instagram as a result of the January 6th riots. At that point, the company determined his posts stoked violence and posed a risk to public safety.
For more on this, let's bring in Mike Isaac. He's a technology correspondent for the New York Times, joining us from Oakland, California today. Mike, thanks for being with us. Talk to us about why Meta chose to basically allow former President Trump to rejoin its accounts and why groups that were typically opposed to Trump, like the ACLU, are now voicing support of this decision, allowing him back on these platforms.
Yeah, 100%. So initially, 2 years ago, when former President Trump was posting around the January 6th insurrection, Facebook essentially found that those posts were inciting to the riots that happened, and they banned him initially indefinitely, meaning they didn't really have a time limit on it. And so Facebook has what's called an oversight board who declared that was not of the norm. They should actually have fixed a time limit to it. And so Facebook and Zuckerberg, in their wisdom, I guess, decided that 2 years was an appropriate amount of time. Now that 2 years are up, they've been deliberating inside. And what they came out with yesterday was, former Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg, who is now the president of global affairs at Facebook and Meta, and the one really in charge of this and making the big decisions, felt that the imminent threat and danger to the public was over and that Trump essentially should be given another chance. And yeah, a lot of Democratic groups have come out against it, said this is still very dangerous. He's clearly made no sort of changes to how he uses Truth Social, which is his own sort of social network. But as you said, the ACLU, which is typically, very free speech, said, look, there's a lot of speech out there. And no matter what, no matter how incendiary or even awful it is, we support this call. And there's a number of groups that are also sort of on that side as well.
Yeah, Mike, as you mentioned, the former president took the opportunity in responding to this to plug Truth Social, his social media platform. Yeah. Do we think that he's going to become active on Facebook and Instagram? Will he continue to try and push people to Truth Social, his followers there instead? How's Truth Social going?
Yeah, no, it's a really great question. So he was, as you may know, allowed back on Twitter by Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, a few months ago, and has not posted to Twitter since then.
Right.
And, that, which is wild because that was his preferred platform of choice. But he has a few entanglements with Truth Social that actually bar him from immediately posting to social networks like he used to. So there's a 6 hour, there's a 6 hour time window that he has to wait to post to other social networks, apparently, due to his contract that he signed with the network, unless it has to do with immediate fundraising. So the thought is, as he ramps up for what he hopes to be a successful reelection campaign, he'll start using these other social networks more to raise money, which is frankly the best small dollar sort of donations for him that he had during the first election cycle. But, he's still got the contractual agreements with Truth Social that are rumored to be ending in the coming months. So we'll see what that looks like.
It's interesting because a few moments ago, Mike, we were talking about political rhetoric here in the U.S. and how it is having a direct impact on the safety of elected officials who are being targeted. Former President Trump highly criticized and effectively booted off of these platforms for being one of the loudest proponents of demonizing your political opponents and otherwise. I'm just wondering, from your point of view as a technology correspondent, especially when you've got free rights, free speech groups now supporting this decision, although some like Media Matters for America disagree with bringing Trump back, what you make of it, considering the political and safety climate in the country?
No, I think it's totally fair to say that the incendiary rhetoric stokes actual actions on these social networks, and there's a reason that it's been quieter, at least across Facebook and Twitter for the past 2 years in his absence. Now, do I think that that void has been filled with other incendiary figures? Absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of folks who really learned from how Trump used the network to kind of rally folks and group them together in Facebook groups or sort of private chat rooms. And so he really, the sort of irony of it is, even if he never posts again to Facebook or Twitter, he has sort of inspired a new crowd of people to essentially emulate him and do similar tactics and sort of, whether that's seeking money online or just to whip up people online, it's going to keep going. So I'm very curious how Facebook enforces it going forward, especially now that they basically their whole focus is on the metaverse and this entirely different thing that's not really elections focused.
Right. Well, we know you're tracking this all. We invite you back to keep us posted as we keep a close eye on it as well. Mike Isaac, thank you very much.